Missouri 7 Public Access Archive. The Crypt Revue Season 1 Episode 7 Witchcraft. Air date, February 14th, 1994.
Hey everybody, it's your old pal Drippin' Yellow Madness, and today I've got my totally real don't question it cauldron, cause we're gonna be doing some witchcraft. First we're gonna bring our water to a boil. Once we get that going, we're gonna add some Bionic Commando, a slice of Devil May Cry, essence of Sunset Overdrive, and just a little bit of Guitar Hero. Stir gently while whispering all your hopes and dreams into the cauldron, as well as the 72 secret names of God. And when the moon has reached its zenith, the magic happens. Ah, look everyone, our spell worked. It's the producer from the network.
Well, your funding's been pulled. We're shutting the show down.
Hooray!
Tango Gameworks, known for The Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, decided somewhere back in 2017 that they wanted to make one of them stylish, hackin', stabby type games, but with a bit of a twist. So, they started. Shinji Mikami, executive producer at Tango Gameworks and industry legend, wanted to help build the next generation of developers, but also wanted to step away from the survival horror and pursue another in the vein of the action games that he had developed under Capcom and Platinum, those being God Hand and Vanquish respectively. And I know executive producer is a bit of a meme that is often associated with someone who did literally nothing but had their name tied to it to help sales, but it should also be noted that that term can mean anything from that to literally saw everything and directed everything, but had no specific job and title associated with it. Excuse me, literally oversaw everything. I see everything, I'm omniscient. And considering it's a Japanese developer and their general push to help nurture and mentor those who will replace them, as well as the overall quality of his previous work, I'm going to go ahead and say it's safe to assume he played a much larger role than the general meme. So, a legendary developer, a relatively new but highly accomplished studio tackling a well-established genre but with their own twist. How the fuck could it go wrong? It actually can't. That was a trick question. If you haven't played it yet, just kind of fuck you. No, what they created ended up being one of the most creative and cohesive takes on the genre, one in which every part goes to service the other, and the player with an experience that I only had two major complaints with. So, with that out of the way, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up! It's Hi-Fi Rush time. Brush my hair cause I'm a pretty horse, I'm a pretty little pony. Mister, would you please help my pony? He's over there behind the tree. That took 3 takes and my camera decided to fuck with me. You are Chai, a fella in his early 20s with big boy dreams of playing guitar. So like any logical artist, you decide to sell your soul to a major national corporation who totally 100% aren't going to just screw you over and profit off your hard work while feeding you crumbs. Totally not what's going to happen, right? That's right, Chai's gonna get himself a robot arm because everyone knows shitty bands that use drum machines instead of an actual percussionist on their albums are totally cool, so why not extend that to the strings section as well? Things don't go exactly according to plan, however, and the government murders Chai's wife and uses her corpse to power his robot hand. I mean, his Zune gets dropped into the machinery and implanted in his chest. Then it turns out that he was designed to be a garbage collector, and then he's declared defective and scheduled for murder. Man! It's not like on the nose or anything, but fuck me, for all the 90s alt comedy and pratfalling slapstick, that's pretty goddamn real! Well, wouldn't you know it, like Johnny Five before him, Chai just isn't ready for disassemble and figures out that his Zune has filled his soul with the power of love. I mean, the ability to beat the ever-loving fuck out of an army of metal soldiers. I mean music. It's filled him with the power of music. And also all those other things. I'm mostly just going to skip over the story. It's fantastic. It's not complicated, it follows similar lines to that 90s punk culture followed, with the softer beach style shaving off the edges similar to the likes of Freaked and Sunset Overdrive. There's more a social distortion about this than a Green Jelly or Wesley Willis fiasco. Long story short, Corporation has gone out of whack. Overcome it with the power of friendship, hit it with a stick until it quits being a little bitch about everything, with a serious enough tone but a strong enough focus on lighthearted comedy. Mixing Western and anime stylings, and filling it with plenty of references ranging from so subtle I missed it the first time through, to so fucking blatant you can't help but feel they're calling you out, and yes, they even have the obligatory Twin Peaks reference. And doubly yes, it did take me 2 full playthroughs to get the reference of the stonks Money Wall Street guy being a wolf. I'm not smart, leave me alone. It never takes itself too seriously, but just seriously enough to flow together well enough and make it enjoyable on just about every level it can. Do you want drama? They got that. Do you want drama but not shitty melodrama? You're solid. Want melodrama? Sure, they got that in a little bit just to humor you. Do you want fart jokes? Well, no. Enjoy a motherfucker slipping on a banana peel off a cliffside into a Schwarzenegger reference. Have fun. All of it is straightforward and respects the player. While there are parts I wish were skippable on subsequent playthroughs, the game does its best to avoid beating you over the head constantly with the plot or its overall theming. It respects your time and is plenty entertaining, no point really spoiling anything too hard. Gameplay, however, is probably where I'm going to struggle. I fucking love these games, but I'm bad at them, so generally explaining the systems and issues that may arise is pretty difficult, but they do something rather interesting with the character action genre. They made it a rhythm game, so all the super complex timings, the combo input times, resets, delayed inputs, enders, etc., they're all relegated to the rhythm portion. No longer do you have to memorize the difference between Dante and Deadweight's delayed input timing, now it's tied to the metronome. The music tells you the timing. Struggling with that? Well, we're in real Merry Melodies hours and the entire world is grooving to the beat. Still struggling with that? Chai snaps and bobs to the rhythm. Still struggling? On a delayed input, the quote-unquote audience claps and a small visual indicator lets you know the rest. Are you still fucking struggling? Well, you must be me, so pick up my controller, press the back button, and turn on the beat timer. This is what I mean when I say everything is in service to serve each other. Much like Metal Hellsinger before it, adding props to the levels to make it act like a stage show, Hi-Fi Rush has designed everything to work to the beat of the song so that you will always have a visual and audio indicator of your timing with even more options if you need extra help. The purpose of this is that Chai attacks on the beat. If you press off beat, he will strike at the next beat. If you time your inputs, your combo score rises faster, and I'm pretty sure you deal extra damage. The crowd also cheers when you time it right, so it just feels really nice, like the game is constantly encouraging you. Combos end with beat hits, a little visual indicator that pops up and if you hit your timing, enhances the final strike. Later in the game, you'll unlock jam combos, which are supers that you use your special attack bar to hyper combo finish all over your enemy's face. At first, this may seem simple, especially since combos are short and have hard ends. However, this game uses dash, grapple, jump, and special cancels. You will also quickly learn that you can set your own combo rests. There are only 2 combos in the game that actually incorporate a rest, so simply delaying a beat will let you reset your attack string without immediately dropping your combo, which then lets you chain weird things that, while maybe not intentional, had the door left open to them for the player. Dig, if you will, a picture. My favorite shenanigans I discovered so far: dash launcher, light, heavy, rest, light, heavy, rest, light, heavy, game tries to force me to ground, grapple, 4-hit, combo.
Here's the big one! Knockout cannon!
That's not a combo as set up by the game, and nowhere in its entirety does it suggest resetting a string with a rest, but was something I experimented with and discovered simply by playing around with the game's options. Its ease of access and generally enjoyable to engage with nature led me to playing around with it wholly unprompted. It's easy to get in, mash buttons, yet still learn things. Tying its mechanics into an easy-to-understand rhythm game, which being tied to music is already immediately fun, not only creates an instant playground for the player to experiment, learn, and refine, but also creates the desire to. Sure, it's never going to be as deep as Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, but it still has its own depth, difficulty, and freedom for the player to easily develop and adapt their own style to. Too Long Didn't Listen? By tying the deeper complexities into the rhythm segment of the game, it demystifies a lot of the more esoteric nature of character action games. The things that even the best tutorial options can't explain are made clear as day by simply adding in a beat. Rather than giving the player a bunch of weapons they will have to juggle, features and weaknesses are consolidated into buddy assists. These take the form of Sideshave, who can break barriers, Emmanuel Macron, who can break shielding, and Cheech and Chong's the Corsican brothers, who can douse enemy flames and speed up the rate at which you stun break enemies. As you progress, you can unlock the ability to perform jam combos. Whereas combos end with massive hits if you time your button inputs, jam combos allow you to press the assist button to summon a buddy for a hyper combo finish. While cinematic and obviously targeting the enemy you are striking, they will actually affect any enemies caught in its actual area of effect, breaking shields and damaging enemies caught in its area even though they were not actually captured by the combo. They're super cool, and they're pretty fucking powerful. Your colleagues also have the ability to deal massive damage when summoned one beat after a successful parry or dodge at no meter cost. The best part about that is the enemy parried or their attack dodged can be across the goddamn arena, but using said counter will still properly target them, giving the player a level of arena control not really seen in many character action games, but it does come at the cost of aerial control. You see, despite Chai wanting to be Spencer when he grew up, there is no Devil Bringer function. It will only ever drag him to an enemy, and if that enemy is on the ground, it will ground him. Combine this with the fact that after so many combos, roughly 2 or 3 based on cancels and hits, the game will force Chai to the ground. If you're high enough, you can cancel this with a grapple, but at some point, you will be forced to land. While it's up to much smarter minds than mine to determine if this is a good thing or not, I think I understand the purpose. In complicated spectacle fighters like Bayo and DMC, and even in games like Doom Eternal and Ultra Kill, being in the air is generally the most powerful position you can be in. Sure, you lose access to some tricks, but the control and access to greater damage you are granted as well as keeping you further away from danger is incredibly powerful. So powerful that if the player could even pull weaker enemies to them, or just dash cancel fly, a lot of the game's difficulty would be gutted, especially when you consider its much more score attack and aerial rave grants a score multiplier. I get the reasons why they did it, and I find myself agreeing with them. It helps separate it from others and allows a level of challenge that isn't simply mitigated by playing on mouse and keyboard, because playing Dante effectively requires the full use of 90 bajillion buttons on your Razer Buttsucker 5K Ultra Pro Gaming Mechanical Keyboard. There also appears to somewhat be a bit of a dodge offset function with the combo enders, but if it's really there and I'm not crazy, I am not skilled enough to reliably pull it off to show it in effect. Enemy variety is huge and very welcome. Later and tougher enemies will enter Berserk modes in which the player will be placed into a parry battle, and they are then given the rhythm and must quickly memorize it in order to pull off the sick finisher. If you fail it twice, or you miss your finisher timing, the robot will exit the Berserk mode, and in a few more hits you can finish them off regularly. But there's a secret. You can parry their AoE that activates the QTE segment, and if you parry it twice, you skip the QTE segment and you can finish them off as normal. Pretty cool shit. Not sure if it's intended, but it's there. On top of that spaghetti all covered in cheese, shoutouts to the counterattack indicator. At first I never noticed the timing icon on screen. It's small, but much like a musical motif in a game's soundtrack like, say, Katamari Damacy, it's easy to not notice at first, but once you do, it's impossible to not notice it ever again without ever intruding on the player's experience. But I do have one massive fuck of a complaint with the combat, and that is auto-targeting. There is no lock-on that you control. You can, of course, influence the direction that Chai will attack, but the more you play, the better you get, and the fancier and more deliberate you want to get, you start to notice how little control you actually have, and how willing the game is to fuck over whatever it is you had wanted to do. Point my camera at a flying enemy, hold stick in his direction, press grapple. What do you expect to happen? Well, a good 50% of the time, Chai will fire the grappling hook at the screen and pull himself to an enemy that I couldn't see. Mid-combo, break enemy stun gauge, dash cancel to dash launch, Chai dashes away from the enemy and performs the launcher on nothing despite holding the thumbstick towards the enemy. Mid-combo on an enemy, Chai will change targets of his own accord. Why did you do this? The combat is so fucking solid, so smooth and easy to get into, and then this shit just keeps happening? Why? Just fucking why? Also on the just fucking why, let's mention animation. It's pure Kino. Not just the old school meshing with the new school, not just the world bobbing along to the music and the way things will bend and stretch in such small but heavily noticeable ways to really sell the speed and force of the action. It's fucking masterful. But then an in-engine cutscene starts, and to sell the anime aesthetic, characters will be animated at 20 FPS, yet the world around them still moves at whatever you set the frame rate to. It is very noticeable, and when it happens, and it does, it's on purpose. It ruins the aesthetic and makes the game look like it's shitting itself to death. The Lego Movie style stilted animation needed to be applied globally, and not just to what the shot was focusing on. The soundtrack is fucking killer. It's that perfect coming-of-age punk-era rock with some great utilization of licensed tracks. It's not as punk as, say, Sunset Overdrive, but you get what they're going for in the fusion of styles. They even use 2 Nine Inch Nails tracks, one for the first boss and one for the final, making nice bookends. First one is a great track, but the second is one of their all-time jams. No, not the Sexy Times song, the one where Trent Reznor takes his plasma globe he got from Spencer's Gifts to the graveyard to drink absinthe and pretend he's a vampire. Great track, very few picks could have been better. But the chorus, the hypest fucking parts of the song, they're not played during combat, they're played while the characters are talking over them. Guys, you're doing this on purpose just to hurt me. Aside from that, great licensing choices, great original tracks, great utilization during levels, though you don't get layered tracks like DMC or Hellsinger, but you don't need it. It's not what they were going for. And I think that's just about it. It's $30 if you're not on Game Pass, and even the $10 in-game only shit special edition DLC is worth it just to support the devs on a game that is worth far more than they ever ask of you. Its art direction, aesthetic, music, animation, gameplay, writing, performance, story, and even the secret ending, which is a fucking perfect for everything the game has set up, is absolutely solid and is without a doubt one of the best character action games out there. Definitely up there with the greats, and hopefully one everyone even marginally interested in the genre will enjoy. It's got something for everyone, and absolutely killer characters and a fun story. I'm pretty sure I know exactly who longtime viewer Wolfpack's favorite character is. Mine is Seb.
But sometimes I think someone should get hurt. Only way to spark some change.
I said it at the start. I'm the Necroswanson, and if you haven't yet or aren't currently playing through this game, fuck you!
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I require your unparalleled acting talent.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to go back to high school for our method acting drama class days. Okay?
Of course. Jesus water.
Jeez, yeah, exactly.
No, Eskimo water. Eskimo water.
Eskimo
Drink
water.
it. Your Messiah commands it.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course.
Okay. All right.
Of course.
Okay. So, I need you to say, in your best impression of you, hi.
Just hi.
In your best impression of you.
You're how does one
No, you're doing great. I totally believe that you're you right now.
I hate you. I hate you so much right now.
Okay, cool. All right. No, that's perfect. Your audition is good. All right, I'm going to feed you a line now that I need you to read for me.
All right.
All right, hold on. Let me highlight it so I can copy it and post it. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, this is very important and professional, and I need you to give it your all.
I hate you so fucking much, dude. Why you gotta make me do this shit? Because you know I fucking will.
Come on. Clock's ticking.
Give me a sec. I'm fucking.
Cameras are
sorry.
rolling.
I apologize. Huh?
Cameras are rolling.
Well, your funding's been pulled. We're shutting the show down.
Thank you. That was perfect.
Okay.
Sounds like shit because it's over Discord, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
This whole
Well,
thing
also,
is
I'm
going
using my
up at the end
earbuds,
of the
so-
video.
Oh, good. Well, then, I would like to let them know that I am, in fact, the Necroswanson, and y'all can go fuck yourselves.
Ah, shit.